What I will focus on in part 2 is the malignant parent's indefatigable drive to disquiet, discompose, disturb, and unsettle the inner light that is the very foundation of the targeted child's sense of worth, sense of self, and sense of being. Let's look at Psalm 112 again. The man who fears, reveres, and worships the Lord shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is firmly fixed, trusting in the Lord. His heart is established and steady. The wicked man will see it and be grieved and angered. He will gnash his teeth. According to these verses, the man or woman who honors and respects God possesses a fixed heart. This verse also reveals the person with a fixed heart shall not be afraid of evil tidings. I'd like to examine more closely the meaning of the phrase, "He, the man who fears the Lord, shall not be afraid of evil tidings," for the purpose of this study. The word afraid is often used to describe the kind of fear or alarm one experiences when confronted with anything that poses danger or harm, like one would be afraid of a spider or a snake. The same word, however, can also be defined to honor or to respect. The word translated tidings has multiple meanings as well. The root of the Hebrew word translated tidings carries the following ideas: to listen, to give heed, to consent, and to agree. Gesenius's Hebrew Chaldean lexicon defines tidings as a message, instructions, teaching, and doctrine. I believe proper usage of the word afraid in Psalm 112:7 means to honor or respect. And I'm just as confident the word tidings used in the context of this verse carries with it the meaning of the root word from which it is derived: to listen, to give heed, to agree. If we were to paraphrase Psalm 112:7 utilizing these definitions, it would read, "The man who fears, reveres, and worships the Lord shall not honor, respect, or agree with the teachings and the doctrines of evil." And this paraphrase dovetails perfectly into the next line, which reads, "His heart is firmly fixed." Where is his heart firmly fixed? It's fixed in God, in light, and in truth. His heart is firmly fixed in the sense of right and wrong proceeding from his own conscience. Let's now analyze this dynamic at work in a family system. The child whose sense of self is being established from within through the acknowledgement and respect of his or her own conscience is the child whose heart is becoming fixed in what God deems right and wrong. Right and good, Some would say what a power greater than himself determines is right and good. Most, if not all of this, is transpiring on a subconscious, almost instinctual level within the child's own heart. This child may indeed lie, disobey his or her parents, steal a cookie from the cookie jar, or refuse to hand over a favorite toy to baby sister. Yet at the same time, possess a knowing or experience a witness in his or her own heart and mind of the wrongness of this behavior. Further, this child will not merely recognize that what they did was wrong, but they're going to allow that knowing or witness its proper place in his or her heart. This knowing will become truth to them. This witness will become law to them. The child will recognize almost instinctively that lying is bad, disobeying mom is bad, stealing is bad, being mean to sis is bad. Any tidings of evil, such as lying is good, disobeying mom is good, stealing is good, hurting sister is good, will not be inwardly honored, inwardly acknowledged, or inwardly established by the child heeding the voice of his or her own conscience. He or she will not be afraid of evil tidings. His or her heart is becoming established, fixed, and settled upon the light dwelling within his or her own inner being. Let's look at verse 10. The wicked man will see it. The wicked man will see what? The wicked man will see or recognize the reverence of God residing in this individual. The wicked man will see or recognize the heart fixed on good inside this individual. The wicked man will recognize the heart that is established on truth and light residing within this individual. We're talking about this individual who refuses to honor, respect, or agree with evil. I find it interesting this verse does not state that all men will see or recognize this heart that's fixed on good and truth. The word is very specific. It is the wicked who have the capacity and the ability to recognize light inside others. Now note the response of the wicked man when he recognizes the heart condition of this individual. The wicked man will see it and be grieved and angered. He will gnash his teeth. The word grieved means great distress. The Greek phrase for gnashing of teeth literally means grinding one's teeth together. It can be compared to hitting one's thumb with a hammer, squeezing the eyes closed and grinding the teeth together hard in reaction to the pain. Anger, pain, distress, anguish. These are words describing the emotional and possibly spiritual state of the wicked at simply beholding the undefiled conscience of another human being. This is the reaction of the wicked when he or she beholds the individual whose identity is established or is becoming established on the foundation of a clear conscience. Now, can you see that spiritual forces are at play? These are forces that transcend the material realm, the intellectual realm, and any other kind of realm. Do you recognize the spiritual realities that are at loggerheads? Realities that are unaffected by natural circumstances, including family. It matters not if the wicked man happens to be a parent, and the individual whose heart is fixed on the Lord is child to that wicked parent. It matters not that the wicked man may be an adult in his 30s, while the child is less than 5 years old. Spiritual reality trumps man's ideas, man's traditions, and man's ways. The wicked, abusive, malignant, narcissistic parent is the individual who made a choice to fear evil tidings. I believe the vast majority of chronic, malignant abusers repeatedly made the choice, usually starting at a young age, to give honor and respect to the voice of evil, even at the expense of their own consciences. I am convinced the personality disordered, character disturbed, and the morally darkened are individuals who long ago hardened their hearts to the light within their own spirit and embraced the spiritual darkness without. Unfortunately, the personality disordered are still able to make babies and start families. I'd like to read Romans 1:18 from the Amplified. For God's holy wrath and indignation are revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who in their wickedness repress and hinder the truth and make it inoperative. And for the purpose of this study, Hebrews chapter 10, cast not away your confidence. Malignant narcissists seem to know on a nearly ethereal level the power of the human conscience. The truly wicked seem to understand with greater clarity than most the role that the human conscience plays in the psychological makeup of others. Somehow or other, the morally depraved have figured out the most effective means of psychological torture, enslavement, and destruction involves the subterfuge of conscience. The malignant narcissist will subsequently carry out the insidious campaign to repress and hinder the truth and make it inoperative in the heart and the soul of his or her victims. The malignant abuser embarks on a mission to compel his or her target to cast away their confidence in their own conscience. The narcissist will engage in activity designed to de-establish the intended victim's heart. Narcissists demonstrate time and again, through their own actions and behaviors, the following. If the targeted child's relationship with his or her conscience can be disturbed, maligned, or even annulled, to the point the narcissistic parent assumes the position of sole moral guide, moral voice, and moral authority within the child's heart and consciousness, then the sole slavery of the child to his or her parent is not only possible, but highly likely. And I believe this is why so many covert abusers take for themselves pious-looking and sanctimonious-sounding titles and positions. Anything to deceive those around them, particularly their victims, into accepting their self-appointed role of moral authority. Anything to propagate the illusion of legitimacy to their illegitimate stance of conscience police. Motherhood and fatherhood are ready-made roles for the morally bankrupt to manipulate to their purposes and their own ends. The children of these monsters don't have a chance from anyone in the world save the Creator himself.